Hi, in this demo video will be a continuation of the Centrify Server Suite evaluation install, and specifically installing the Mac agent. So I'm assuming in this video that you've already referred to the other videos, already installed the backend, set up the OUs inside of Active Directory, install the software, set up the zones, that kind of stuff. Please refer to those other videos. So what we'll be doing here is installing the Mac agent. What we'll be, again, make sure we're going to set up and verify the backend, verify test users and policies are in the zones, make sure we're all ready to go. We want all the policies ready to go inside the Mac zone, so that way when I install the Mac agent, it downloads all the policy, my test user can go ahead and log in right away. Make sure you have the agent package for your Mac, the latest package, or the all agent zip has all the Unix flavors including Mac, and then you can pull the Mac one out of there. Preparing the Mac machine before an install. If you happen to be using a static IP, the same rules apply as a Unix. We got to modify the local DNS to use Active Directory's DNS, and if it's a static IP, again, in Active Directory's DNS, you want to verify the subnet is in sites and services, and also add that machine itself into DNS. Most people use Macs for DHCP, and you're all good. We want to verify the machine is ready to join AD. Part of the deployment manager tool can do an analyze, but we're going to actually do the AD check tool that's part of the GUI, and we'll be demoing that. And you got to have login admin credentials on the Mac, a local admin account. So we'll be joining a Mac to AD, so just like any other joining machine to AD, you have a decision. Who's going to create that computer object? The person doing the joining, or are they pre-created ahead of time with someone else who's got permission? We're going to be doing it at the join time. The person, I have an AD account who has permission to create computer objects where I want them. So we're going to install the agent, the Mac agent, and join to the Centrify zone. I'll talk about the deployment manager options, which requires SSH server on the Mac. Again, we don't need to do that. We're going to do it manually. There are also other tools like Casper and things like that that can push out the Centrify agent and then install them. What we're going to do is demo how to do it manually. You download the DMG package, you click on install, and we go through all the steps. And then we're going to verify the agent is all working good, and we're going to test the user logon with our test user. I'll do a quick discussion on smart card login, setting it up manually and via group policy, and talk quickly about the enterprise certificates and group policy, but this will not be an in-depth discussion on smart cards. I'll have another video on that. So again, what we're assuming is that you've already watched the other videos and everything's already set up. If I go in my Centrify Access Manager, I have a global zone, 3 child zones, one of them is a Mac. If I right-click and say Show Effective Unix User Rights, because that's a Mac, is a Unix machine to us, basically, we're going to do our test users all good to go. So I pushed the package out there manually. Again, there's lots of ways of pushing these packages out automatically using any kind of software deployment tool. It's a standard package, a DMG. Standard packages are going to be installed using standard tools like Casper or anything else, Monkey, that kind of stuff. But what we're going to do here is install it manually. So this machine, this Mac machine right here, I have an Apple 10.12.3. It is not bound to AD using the Apple plugin or anything like that. By the way, if it was bound, the Centrify install would detect that and unbind it. We'll start with a clean machine right here. So I have this latest Centrify agent right here. This is the 5.4 agent. So here's the AD check tool. If you've seen the other videos, it's the same tool that's being run on Unix machines. We're going to run it here. It asks for a domain. Type in our domain. It's going to go through. If you get some warnings, that's okay. If you get some errors, you got to fix the errors before you can continue. And you'll see here, if you've seen the other videos, I actually, in my little lab here, I have supposed to have 2 DNS machines. I only got 1 set up. The second one's not up. But that's okay. It's just going to give me a warning, and I'll be able to continue. Just because I'm missing 1 DNS, I still got 1 good, and I can fix that later. So I got 1 warning, my DNS. Also a note, no SSH on this machine, but that's okay. It's a Mac. I don't need it. So here's my package right here, the Centrify package. So I'm going to go ahead and install it. Continue, continue. Agree the license. So this is, I'm still logged in as my local account. I'm logged in as a local account that has admin rights. Still haven't joined into AD yet. I've just installed the package, and this is the Centrify Join Assistant that will step me through everything else I need to do. So it's going to do the Join Assistant, joining to Active Directory. So again, just like anything else, when we join to Active Directory, I got to have a computer object gets created. We didn't pre-create it, so the person doing it right here has to have rights. My same test user, Diana Worth, is the one that's going to log in. This is my local user who has rights to run this, and this is my a name of an AD account who can log in and make the changes. So my domain is Centrify VMS. I have this Diana Worth account, and this account has rights to create this computer account. Has two rights: create a computer account, and when I inside the OU, and also inside the Centrify Zone Mac, this account has to have rights to join that zone. This guy's the administrator, or person Diana Worth is the administrator, so I'm all good. But you might have to specifically on that Mac zone, you can delegate zone control. Let me actually just show you that real quick. If someone does not have rights, you can go into the Mac, right-click on the Mac, and say delegate zone control, and you can go through here, find a user, and actually give them the right to add computers to that zone, join computers to that zone, and remove computers from that zone, and even you want to do modify computer profiles. So that's, I could actually delegate that user if I didn't need, if my user didn't have rights on that zone. I'm using an admin right now, so I can hit continue next. So I'm going to actually join that Centrify zone. I could just type Mac because I am unique, but if you happen to be someone sharing an Active Directory with someone else who's already done a Centrify deployment, the name Mac might not be a unique zone. So you could do the full path. So I can go down where that Mac zone is, right click and say properties. It actually lets me know where that zone was located. So I can copy the location of it. Go back into my Mac. And instead of just putting Mac, I can actually, oh great, that's not going to work. Oh, let me get that in my buffer. Alright, I finally got that in my buffer, so I was able to put in the full path. Again, the point is you can put the full path or you can just do the name of the zone if it's unique. I could have just typed in Mac. So this is my computer name. I'm okay with that. And then this is the actual container. I have to have permission to create a computer object in there, and I want to put it in a specific place. So I'm going to navigate down to where I put my Mac desktops. So that is, again, I could do it that way, or I could, if I knew it, I could do this kind of connotation as well. When you browse, it puts that in there for you. So that's it. Hit join. It take a second. So then after a couple of seconds, it should say you have successfully joined your Mac to the Active Directory domain. Hit done, and I'm all good. Get out of this. So just to verify some basic commands, this is a machine we have now joined to Active Directory. Kind of LDAP-like queries and things we can type. Very similar to the exact same commands as on Unix machines. AD info, Active Directory info. How is the agent working? You should see connected right there. License featured enabled. It found its closest. It used sites and services to find the closest domain controller. This is how I'm joined. You can see the zone I'm joined into. And then when I right-clicked inside of Access Manager and said Show Effective Users, it showed all the users, which was just one, but who can log in. Same thing if I type AD query user. All right, so that lists all the users because I'm a local admin guy. All the users that can log in, and Diana Worth is one of them. So just to verify Diana Worth, I have fast window switching. If not, you can log out, log in. So I'm gonna log in with Diana Worth. First time a user logs into a Mac, just like on a Unix machine, it's going to create its home directory. So it's doing all the process now to create a new account on my my Mac. So there you go. So now I'm logged in as Diana Worth. Now I didn't make Diana a regular an admin. She's a regular user. If I go into System Preferences and try to make any changes, there's actually a new Centrify utility, but I don't have. Well, I don't do that one, but let's try any of these. See, if I try to unlock it, I don't have the rights. So Diana Worth is not an admin on this particular box. And we'll get into this later. This is a nice smart card tool we can use to enable smart card. But anything in general, Diana Worth is not an admin on that machine, just a regular user, but everything's all good. I logged in with my AD account. So let me go back to someone who is an admin, just to show you some tools. So that one tool we had up there, System Preferences. There's now a Centrify tool. This is a great tool to run. AD check, we did that tool already. The join assistant, if you want to, you can always leave a domain and rejoin. I can check my password. I can uninstall if you want. There's some things up here. If you want to look at some local accounts, some local settings, all the domain controllers. If I wanted to list a whitelist and blacklist, we're doing it automatic right now, which is the best way of doing it. But here's a tool here, Smart Card Assistant. Smart Card is not enabled on this machine. I'll have another video that goes into the details of how to make sure everything's set up right for a smart card on a Mac. But right now, just in general, here's one way we can turn smart card on. We can also do it on command line. I believe, yeah. Ha, I don't know my account. All right. Well, let's do it the GUI anyway. So via the GUI, if I do the smart card, so there's a tool called SC tool, and I can look at the status, and I can just do it, and it says all the commands I can do. But I got to have root, and I got the root password. But I am an admin. The Centrify SC is an admin, so I can run this smart card assistant tool, unlock it, and then if I say enable, now I just enabled smart card. Now if I go down there and look at the status, it's enabled. So the SC tool -E will enable it, SC tool -D will disable it, and also using the GUI, I can go in there and enable it. That's just basic smart card enabling. Again, I'll have another video. But just to show you, if you're ever going to do something like this, what it needs to look like on this particular network, I don't have smart card set up to work. Again, what Centrify is allowing you to do is take your Active Directory user who's already logged on with a smart card onto a Windows machine, they can log on to a Mac. So we're not setting up the back-end certificate servers or anything like that. You have to already be able to log in with your smart card onto a Windows machine, and now we can make it work on a Mac. So once we enable the smart card, let me show you another network I have, that what it looks like when you put a smart card in. Just real basic stuff here. One more thing I forgot. One more tool we have on here. It's pretty cool. If we go to Library, Application Support, Centrify, there's a Mac diagnostic tool. This is a pretty cool tool as well. Maybe something to run and even pin down the bottom. So AD info, we saw that information. You can do network information. This is some really good tools inside of here. I can look at the group policy. Again, I can talk about this later on in another video. We haven't gotten any setting-specific Centrify group policies. There are some generic policies, like from the Windows GP certificates I've downloaded. I can look at that AD query user. Some debug logs. If you have any problems, we can actually turn debug on and debug off here, and then we can actually grab the files themselves, flush the cache, run debug, grab those logs and send them into support, and we can help you set everything up. So this is a really good tool that you want to maybe, again, mark, take a look where it's at on the hard drive, under Library, Application Support, Centrify, Mac Diagnostic Tool. All right, now let me show you the, real quick, if you had set up smart card, what it should look like when you stick a smart card in, if you have all your certificates ready. One more thing I wanted to show before I switch to the other network. Under Mac, now that we join this Mac, if you do a refresh, we should now have that computer. This should be, you won't have to go back to this GUI because we already tested the login with that user, but you can see now that under my computer now I have that Mac. So Make sure that shows up. Obviously, it worked because I logged in with the test user. All right, let me show you the other network. Okay, here's another network I have and different Mac. This Mac has a Centrify agent on it, and I've already enabled smart card. Smart card is enabled. Now, if you have certificates and everything's been set up right, again, the smart card, we're using it as part of Active Directory. The basic certificates and the certificate chain has to be trusted. So if you've set up your default group policies for certificates for your Windows machines in order to download all their the required certificates to make smart cards work on a Windows machines, if you put that at the default domain level, then this Mac machine should also download it. Again, group policies come from an OU level. This machine joined an OU. It should be downloaded its default domain policies. If those include all the certs to get the smart cards to work on Windows, we should still have the certs as well. So when you stick inside your PIV card or your CAT card, if you stick that inside your Mac and you go into your keychain, hopefully your PIV card should show up with green. Mine's a simplistic network and simplistic certificates on my particular smart card here. But make sure it's all green and that it says that the certs are valid. Again, I'm going to have another video with some more detailed troubleshooting, but if you don't have green and somehow we're not getting the certs, somehow the chain is not valid, and you're not going to be able to log in with your smart card. Always test logging in with your AD account with a password if you can to make sure Centrify is working and you have the policy set up right before you try to log in with a smart card. Do smart card enabled, don't do smart card required if you can do that. It's easier to test to make sure everything's working before you start working on smart card required, because sometimes the certs aren't right, and that's going to be up to you to get all that to working. All right, again, this was some basic setup for the Mac. I hope you learned something, and thank you for your time. Bye.